We started a journey 18 months ago of looking at 10 years out for regulatory, what we call regulatory strategy. We are now transforming how 800 of us think in regulatory, and that's the immediate impact, but the ripple effect is being felt throughout the organization. That's looking at how do we look at our labels for patients? How do we look at our data? How do we do early development differently? Because a small change early has a huge impact later. Imagine a world, and not too long from now, a world where every patient is able to not only access their own data, but also can see treatment options of patients like them. Imagine a world where we take, for example, FDA, who's collected 30 years of data from all of the filings that have ever been done, and that data becomes searchable, queryable, interpretable, actionable. Imagine a world where governments don't collect data just for the purpose of health economics. They collect data for the purpose of patients, their own citizens. There's so many places where data is locked today. So many places where data is locked because of just complexity, but there's places where data is locked because of financial incentives. However, things are changing, and there's going to be the kind of the black swan effect. At some point, it's going to come together. And I think the leveraging factor is going to be technology. Today, if you think about the financial industry, you have blockchain, you have cryptocurrency, you have the ability to do so many things through artificial intelligence. We're not there yet with pharma. We're not there yet with the healthcare system. But you know what? It's coming. And when it comes, I think patients will be at the center of it. They'll own it. They'll drive it. They'll feed off of it for their decision making. And I think it'll flatten how we look at treatment options, who makes the decisions, who pays for them, and ultimately how they get developed. That's really exciting. I want to have an impact, and I can't think of a better place than an emerging market for many reasons, both from the underserved in those markets, the fact that both logistically speaking, patients can't even see a physician, the fact that the GDP in a small country might be, they're spending 3% of GDP on healthcare. And by the way, GDP is really small. So 3% of something really small is tiny. So how do you break through those barriers in the space of imagine a change? Why it's challenging for me is I think having been part of PD, we see things in a very large environment with long-term impact over a 10-year cycle. I suspect in an emerging market, it's going to be very rapid, it's going to be dynamic, but it's going to be fulfilling as well. How do we begin to look at our competitors as our collaborators? And those today we think are our collaborators potentially could be our competitors. And what I mean by that is, if you think of immunotherapy, our competitors could be a Merck. But if you're thinking about patients at the center of what we do, couldn't Merck be a collaborator? The collaborators that may be our competitors are your Google, your Apple, your Amazon, which we may think today, I don't know if we even see them as collaborators, but I see them as future competitors. And so how do you balance those? But how do you begin to think differently and begin to shift the culture of the organization, because culture takes time to change. Once I hear of an idea or a need, I quickly connect dots and could see the ultimate outcome. Imagine if everybody who comes into the office in my team gets out of bed excited in the morning.